what the assistants are supposed to do. I know. They're supposed to keep you on the line. And we don't want it, that's too much work.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to call this to order at 6 p.m. Let's do a quick roll call. I'm here, Thomas is here, Marty's here, Mick's here, Bob's here, Vicky's here, and Mr. Coffey is here. At this point of the meeting, we always provide an opportunity for public comment. Is there anybody in the audience this evening that is seeking to provide public comment to the town board? All right. Then just very briefly, I will acknowledge that we have a couple folks here in the audience. If you're here for a classroom experience and you need somebody from the board to sign something at the end of it, please approach us at the end. We'll be happy to sign some stuff for you, okay? The meeting shouldn't be too long, but we do have a couple of things to get through.
Some of our signatures aren't legible though, just so you know.
We're gonna jump right into, we have an individual here to have a bit of a conversation with us tonight. Thanks, Chris, for joining us. I'm gonna throw it right over to you to just kind of put it in the context and
Okay.
topic.
Okay. For any of those of you who I have not met, my name is Chris Booth, and I'm the Associate Vice President of Patient Care Operations at CBPH. My focus is on support services, and among those things are building projects and engineering at the hospital. So that's why I'm here in front of you tonight. We have a project proposed for a addition to our ambulatory surgery center on the Plaza Boulevard. So I've handed out a packet. You've got a number of submittals here. This is part of our submission for preliminary site plan review on May 16th, so this is the same material that we'll be presenting there. And I wanted to get it and just answer any questions that you may have. What we're proposing as an addition is a federally qualified healthcare clinic which focuses on primary care for a population that in Clinton County and the surrounding area is underserved, and that's our Medicare and Medicaid population. This addition represents a quantum leap in primary care offering in the local area, and this is a formation of a partnership between CBPH Medical Center, or I'll say the University of Vermont Health Network, Champlain Valley Physicians Hospital, and Hudson Headwaters North. Hudson Headwaters, as some of you may know, has built a clinic up in the Champlain area, and this is a second location. And again, what will happen here is this will become a center of primary care offering for our Clinton County and city residents. It will be a 19,000 square foot addition. It will offer services that will also commingle with our diagnostic imaging services, our ambulatory surgery center, and a variety of other hospital services that currently are located on this site. We feel that the synergy between Hudson Headwaters and the hospital at this location is a really outstanding idea, and again, it creates a care setting that we've not ever been able to accomplish here to date. Part of the funding of this project, and it is a $7.2 million project, is provided by the federal government. So $3.6 million is federal government, and $3.6 million is matching funds by the health network. So what you see on the first page of the submittal is basically just the existing plot plan, okay, which shows two parcels of land. The first parcel is our ambulatory surgery center, lot 6A. Lot 5 is a vacant parcel. The delineated sort of jagged line in the center of that parcel is federally identified wetlands, and the area around the edge of it is basically just normal developable property. Second page is a existing site plan with showing parking as it exists today, and the building as it exists today. Okay? We've had extensive work done on mapping both the wetlands and the non-wetland areas of the proposed project site. We have identified no wetlands on the existing ambulatory surgery site, just in case anybody's going to be concerned about that. There are none. I'll direct you to the third page, which is really the meat and potatoes of this presentation. So this is what our proposed plan will look like, and you see at the sort of bottom right-hand side of the page, building addition, 19,600 square feet, and then a variety of shaded area parking, which is intended to be the additional parking on the site. We've done a comprehensive study of existing parking needs on the site. And we feel very confident that what we're proposing will meet any future needs. And I can attest to the work that's been done on the parking, because much of it was observations that I made at various times of the day on many days over the course of the past winter. Going to the fourth page, you see just a proposed landscaping plan, and the larger circles are large deciduous trees, smaller circles and various other notations are just part of the proposed planting scheme for the site. Moving through into the fifth page, you've got the proposed foundation of the building, and you can see a shaded area at the top, which is noted as a corridor. This is actually the area of the if any of you are familiar with the site, it's the area of the overhang, the roof overhang on the front of the existing building. What is in place right now are storefront type areas for, in this area, it's our blood bank, our diagnostic imaging center, our women's imaging center, and our lab. And so all of those would now be contained within a interior corridor that is proposed to be lit by natural light with clear stories in the roof, so that we don't, I think it will actually enhance the lighting in there, and we won't be changing any of the storefront treatment that exists there right now. But customers or patients seeking service will enter a vestibule on either end and be able to access the services as they exist right now. Okay?
Is that, have any solar panels or anything?
There is no solar contemplated right now, and certainly happy to entertain that, but we do not have any shown at this stage of the game. The building is currently powered by power is delivered by NYSEG, and natural gas is the heating component. We buy all of our natural gas and electric power via ESCO, and the return on investment on solar, unfortunately, right now is, until we can secure some sort of a grant for something of that sort, would be rather limited. So we haven't considered solar on it.
The return on investment in the long run would be pretty bad as the earth keeps warming.
Yes, absolutely. I acknowledge that. One issue we would have with solar, though, just to be forthright about it, would be the space required, and the roof loading that we currently have on the existing building would not support solar panels, so we would have to expand out into vacant territory, which is federally qualified. Wetlands are at the moment, so we are working on getting that changed, though, so hopefully someday we'll be able to make, maybe this could be a pilot project or something like that. What you see on the last page is just building elevations, and if you look at the top elevation, you will see a proposed covered walkway, a covered drop-off and pickup area. And it's a fairly substantial feature on the on the project. The second layer down is the proposed view from the south, so looking from south to north. Third layer down is the east elevation, which is what you would be seeing from Hannaford, from the Hannaford side of the building. And the north elevation is what you would be looking at from the north side roadway. Okay. I'm happy to answer any questions on this, any concerns raised, or anything that I can do here.
Appreciate that. Let me just drill this down a little bit further. So really what we will be considering, and it's not a consideration for this evening directly, but wanted to bring Chris in front of you folks sooner rather than later, is the right-of-way. That probably is best illustrated on the third page for parking. Because of that wetland, they are seeking to use our right-of-way for parking development. And without it, it really puts this project at a significant disadvantage. Jim and I, along with Trevor and Scott, will be working on a document to memorialize something that will allow for the town to provide the use of the right-of-way, and for us to be able to take it back over should we need to for some reason, or to receive a one-for-one type of return somewhere else that would allow for a similar right-of-way.
No problem with any existing water sewer?
And again, that will all be memorialized in some type of document. In fact, one thing that the group has already agreed to is on the facility, on the end, they are looking to close a water loop, which would actually benefit the infrastructure out there overall as well. So, and that's an investment that they would need to make as well. So, there's a couple of things I would say about this project. First, starting about the right-of-way, I appreciate that they've been willing to sit down and have this conversation very early on. As they move forward, they are, with their nose against the glass, working on some, making sure that they secure funding. So we want to move this forward quickly. But I also see, Tom, I know that you're one very similar to we want to look at green space. I mean, what they're doing to green this space, what they're doing to really improve this corridor, this corner. We're seeing Seacom Federal Credit Union off of the Tom Miller. I think this is going to be a very nice improvement to that whole area, and more importantly about the services of the folks that will be using this. I think it's absolutely critical that we have this within our community. So,
You don't want a mausoleum with that, do you?
No thanks.
Just checking.
Conflict of interest there.
Yes.
I will say, and Michael, thank you very much for your comments and the town's been very supportive, as mentioned right from the get-go, from early on, first conversations with Trevor and Phil, who is now passed into retirement, but have been very helpful in helping us strategize and craft what we think is a good plan here. I do think that the challenges that we've addressed in design of the addition really enhance the sort of character of that building, which is now basically it's kind of a 1980s strip mall, and that's really what it was. And we're really going to kind of change the character of it into something quite different now. And I think it will make a big difference visually out there.
Well,
Visually doesn't matter really, it's the service we provide.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I was just going to say, but it does in a sense from the visual aesthetics of things, because now that those fields or properties have really been scrubbed down. I mean, you can see eye to eye. I mean, that really has become this very unique corridor again because of the activity that's going on there. If you have something that is on a lower level of an investment, it's sometimes people will say, I don't know necessarily I want to build next to a piece of property that really hasn't seen much reinvestment as well. Barb?
Just a couple questions, Chris. Thanks a lot for being here tonight. The wetland designation, that would count as green space, wouldn't it? Or wouldn't that be?
I would presume so, it's definitely going to be green.
Yeah.
There's some elements to it,
Okay.
yeah.
And we, you know, we may be looking at, we'll be working with the Corps of Engineers on the wetland features of this piece of property going forward. I can't say exactly how that's gonna evolve, but I mean, it could conceivably, part of it could become a body of water, in fact, so that it's instead of just a mowed area of vegetation, that it would become something that would have more visual pop to it. And I think the other piece of it is, as such, it has great benefit to our employees and our patients that will be sort of in that area.
Thank you. The second question is more clarification. That interior corridor, is that gonna also extend to the renal dialysis unit?
It won't, it will extend toward the renal dialysis unit, and it actually exits to the exterior at the boundary of the renal unit.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't enter the renal unit. It doesn't need to,
Okay,
from that perspective.
thank you.
Question, Chris.
Yeah, Mark?
When I look at the parking, coming in through that right-of-way area, they will only be able to access about halfway, and then they'll enter into the property, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
Okay.
So it really is, that's exactly what exists right now, so that wouldn't change.
Yeah, okay. They're not able, correct me if I'm wrong, they're not able to exit off the southern end of what I'm looking at on that parking lot area.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That will not, there's no intent for that to connect to anything.
And they can't exit off the west end.
No, that's correct.
Right. My concern is the traffic flow.
Mhm.
That basically what we're talking about, if I'm looking at this right, is we're really talking about 3 entrances to the property.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And you know, admittedly, the traffic flow is not straight across the front of the building as it exists right now. I will tell you, though, we've got a very good comprehensive parking plan and traffic flow plan in place here. I think in some cases it represents a safer process than exists right now. It will be a little more difficult to speed by.
I don't find it very safe right now, to tell you the truth.
I don't either. I think it's, you know, there've been some concerns with that. We've got a dedicated drop-off area that will be covered, that allows for, you know, up to 4 to 5 cars at a time to exit passengers, and then move forward should that be necessary, or public transportation should that be necessary. And I do think the site planning has been really focused on that traffic flow in a good, coherent way with this. I guess that's all I can say. I think we do have it worked out. It is admittedly quite different than what exists right now, but I think it ought to work. I think there's plenty of precedent within the business areas of the town where things like this exist and work successfully, and I think it can work successfully here as well.
Will traffic entering, see, that's what I'm having trouble trying to figure out. Traffic entering into this configuration here on the left-hand side, when it goes to leave, it's going to have to go all the way across and out on that northern.
Not necessarily.
No, well, it can go back the same way it came.
It can turn right and access the right of way. It'll take a right and a left a right and a left, and then another right to access the existing
Okay,
entry there, okay, so.
I thought I was looking at, I didn't know what those hash marks.
That's intended to be a walkway right there.
That's
So
a
that would
walkway.
be potential pedestrian walkway.
So in theory, they could come back down that
Yeah.
and then just make a jag through there and then come back out that way. Okay.
What does not exist right now, Marty, is that northwestern entrance, so the two hexagons labeled 11, which form the
Yes.
intersection to the road, so that entrance does not exist right now. That will provide sort of a level of release for parking in the back, which is intended to be primarily employee parking.
Employee parking. Yep.
This is great that they're coming through with something for Medicaid patients. Will there be any money left over to hire doctors that will take Medicaid?
Yes, that's part of the plan.
And what about dentists?
There is no dental clinic intended for this. It's primary care. It will be, there will be a behavioral health component there. We may have some of our residency, our primary care residency attached to this as well. So a variety of really good essential services that we've had great challenges in getting here and keeping here. So this will be a very.
If it is a big current facility like this, funding for Medicaid and Medicare gets cut substantially.
Funding will get cut.
Right.
And I don't think it doesn't change the need, and it doesn't change the overall equation. It just simply changes the value. So it still needs to be here.
Good.
In fact, the more that changes, probably the more need that there will be for this. I think the other piece of this is, as you look at changing demographics in our town and county and across the country, Medicare payment is going to be increasingly more important because a lot of people like me who are going to be retiring at some point.
But help me understand then, if funding for that gets cut, how are the doctors and service providers going to be reimbursed?
The same way this is just a place for them to do it. How they do their business is going to have to change. And having it consolidated with imaging and with other synergistic services makes great sense, because there are economies of scale and efficiencies that are gained by doing that, as opposed to plunking this down somewhere else, because you basically can get a one-stop shop, if you will. So I think, to your point, Megan, I think the way that's going to evolve is really going to be in terms of changing efficiencies within the practice itself, and that's really what they're working on right now. They're working on this isn't a single provider primary care practice. It's multiple providers and mid-levels that will all be in here doing their job. It's the most efficient model that has been developed thus far in the industry. So this is something that's this is really what the future is going to look like, I think.
I think the power of what you said is that one-stop shop. A number of individuals that may find themselves in need of services to be able to go a floor over or, an office over and receive multiple, points of contact is time-saving. It can also help to alleviate some of the stress of navigating systems for their health. I mean, there's so many benefits to this. I mean, I'm really excited that I'm glad to see it in the town. I'm happier to see it in the region. I mean, I just, it's so critical. So just again, focusing back on the very specific item of what, this is about, is we will be drafting some documents so that will allow for consideration of the board. I hope that there is some general support for this. I think there is. That will allow them to use the right of way, and we'll find opportunities. Is there any general concern before we move forward with that?
Just existing services and how we're going to move them.
Chris, the only question that I have is that in the agreement that Brendan Owens sent over, he indicated that if this, if the town needed access, that they would give us, say, an alternative. The problem with that, and I'm going to send it back to Brendan, is that if that alternative doesn't meet our needs, we might have to take this back. And we want the hospital to understand that and be prepared, and like I said before, we don't want to be accused of burning down the orphanage or anything like that, so.
Will the hospital be taking over the responsibility for the maintenance of everything from Plaza Boulevard in?
We hadn't considered that. Certainly, it certainly could be part of the equation.
It's
they're
Not private property.
Yeah.
It's really almost, it's most difficult to do plowing, in particular.
We already do the whole site. It really wouldn't be.
And that's why I said there are a number of,
And
a couple
I'm
of
actually
things.
not familiar. Does the town actually plow that right now? I suppose they
We
do.
plow,
Up to,
It shouldn't be.
we do,
You shouldn't be
we-
plowing on private property.
yeah. So if
we do Plaza Boulevard.
You do Plaza Boulevard, but you don't turn in there, do you?
No.
Okay, so we're already doing all that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not-
And actually, I had our paving contractor up there to look
I
at,
don't believe so.
I don't believe
Shouldn't
so.
be.
at asphalt repair as well, so I guess I'm kind of already in that mode.
Chris, I'm actually I've seen this a couple of times. I want to save you some paper because you'll probably be at another meeting. We'll want to use this to leverage it again.
Okay, all right, perfect.
So,
You know how long it took me to put this together?
what'd you say?
Well, you might be able to use it at the,
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll
Planning board.
I'll definitely use it.
which I usually go to too, so.
You know, it was funny, it was like within the first week that I was town supervisor, I had a moratorium on printing in color here, and it was because, color copies were like 25 cents, because our letter had this little color medallion, I'm like, we're not photocopying and printing in color. So,
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah,
that
it's-
I did these. Hopefully don't tell Joyce.
So the only question I have is, you probably handle finances too. How can it be a bill of $5,000 and then insurance pays
I
$900?
don't handle finances.
I'm quite curious. I'm wondering if the person that doesn't have insurance has to pay the whole $5,000 when the insurance covers $900.
For a particular service.
Yeah, particular services. I've seen it a lot.
yeah.
Okay, it's not.
Because he acknowledged that he doesn't do that.
Yes,
without
I
even
know.
going to have to
I
have
can't
an
bring that up,
entertainment.
but I am
Thank you.
concerned about that if
Thank
you
you,
bring it up at
Michael.
any board meeting.
All right.
You can bring it up anytime you'd like.
We will look back soon.
I have in the
Thank you.
past.
Good. Sounds good.
Thank
Thank
you,
you all
Chris.
very
Thank
much
you.
for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
And
time.
for your support too. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Just trying to get a little back on track here. The town hall, I was able to get the resolution for this evening for consideration prepped. So what I would like to do, just so we can start to advertise that, it's the 2017 neighborhood town meeting. We'll do it at the, once we get into draft resolution, so we can skip that for the moment.
That's what town hall means?
Yeah, I was just talking about, we're gonna do a town hall, meeting as we were talking about.
Town hall.
Yeah. So,
But not in the town hall.
and then,
You were silent.
a lot of times, more than anything, in my mind's eye, the bullets that I put down in my report make sense, because I'm the one that needs to be inspired to tell you what I have in my mind. So, the SRTG, and being dyslexic, I think I might have actually got those letters
I think you did it right.
correct. The Saranac River Trail Greenway.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
you're right.
Bob Fuller has been our representative for a significant amount of time, and he has resigned from that group, effective immediately, actually. He is going to be moving out of the area, and nothing bad, but I don't know how public, his life is, but that he did express to me. So
So I can't ask him to be the head of our complete streets.
you could, but I think he'll have to Skype. So we will need to fill that vacancy. I have, as we have done in the past, reached out to him to ask if there might be a name that the person leaving might have a recommendation for. I think there is always some value in there to have some continuity of knowledge or interest and so on and so forth. So next week I may bring for consideration somebody if he has somebody in mind and so on and so forth. If you folks have somebody in mind, I'll reach out to a couple of you throughout the next several days. Feel free to let me know, but I would like to try to actively seat somebody on that board sooner rather than later though. So that's the big stuff there. All right, moving forward, there are the draft minutes of last time's meeting. We do have, I think, Tom's favorite activity, junkyards. We have 2 junkyards, one in compliance, one not. Continue to work through that. We also have a travel request for Melanie to attend some professional development. And then following that item is, this is a resolution that we had on the table but was taken off. It is the work that Lori Williams has been doing with us in regards to the Lapeer Lane Riverway project that is part of our LWRP. We are at a point where it's been communicated to Lori to apply for the funding, and we would like to memorialize this and begin to advance that project. So we can do one of 2 things.
This year?
Yeah, we wants to keep it marching forward. In fact, Lori has already been testing the waters loosely just to see if there's some interest and support, and people have expressed some excitement behind it. So we don't have to pass this resolution tonight. If you would like to, we can, but otherwise it'll stay in draft and we'll pass it next week.
I would make a motion.
You want to consider it for this evening? Rick, you can.
Well,
Yep, no problem.
do you want
That'll
to do
be
the other one
15.
first that you have numbered?
We can I can renumber it, which is fine.
So this will be 115 or 114?
This will be, we can do this as 114.
Or we could do the one.
Yeah, it's just line to be 115. and then you
Okay,
can-
we'll make it 115 then.
Or 117?
All right, so why don't we truly do 114 first, just to keep it simple, because then people will be like, well, wasn't it really 114?
Where there has been custom for some time to hold public and formal meetings for residents of the town to provide a chance for the supervisor and members of the town board to meet with the community. Now therefore be resolved that the date, time, and location is as follows: Monday, May 25th, 6 p.m., Cumberland Head Fire Station. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be placed on the town clerk's bulletin board and on the town of Plattsburgh website.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Fave, is there a second?
Second.
Mannix, is there any discussion?
Are you saying it to come ahead with the note too?
We've already,
You already
we're already on their
Oh.
calendar, so.
Michael, do we have to advertise, publicize in the First Republican? That's just.
Of interest.
Yeah, we'll put it in.
Go in there.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Mark Mannix?
Yes.
Meg LeFave?
Yes.
Barb Heber?
Yes.
Mike Cash?
Yes, the resolution is carried. Thank you. All right, moving forward on to resolution 17115, the CVPH Foundation grant participation.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh draft a Lake Champlain Saranac River waterfront plan has identified 5 priority waterfront projects in the town and approximately 11 acres of town-owned waterfront parcels on Lapeer Lane in Morrisonville, and has identified an ideal for public use and revitalization. Whereas the draft plan includes schematic drawings, implementation strategies, and estimated project costs. And whereas the waterfront parcel is a critical node along the proposed Saranac River Trail Greenway preferred route. And whereas New York State Health Foundation is a private statewide foundation duplicating and improving the health of all New Yorkers by supporting initiatives across the state to help more New Yorkers of all ages eat healthy foods, become physically active, and access a range of programs that encourage healthy life choices. Whereas the foundation of CVPH is a local nonprofit entity that assists with raising funds and oversees how those dollars are invested back to improve the health of our community. And it is well to act in the partnership with the town of Plattsburgh to seek grant funding from the NYSHF, implementation of waterfront improvements at Lapeer Lane, as identified in the draft Lake Champlain Saranac River waterfront plan. Whereas the foundation of CVPH is willing to prepare and submit the grant application, provide project award management, and shared project implementation oversight. Whereas, excuse me, the public-private partnership and its goals are in conference with the priorities identified in the town comprehensive plan, economic development strategy plan, recreation master plan, and the Clinton County designated master plan. Now therefore be resolved that the town attorney shall review the grant application material, associated memorandum of understanding, and upon the town attorney's approval of said documents, the supervisor of the town of Plattsburgh is hereby authorized to certify and execute all documents associated with the application and implementation of this grant. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded by the town planning department and finance manager.
Thank you very much, Rick. I know it was long in your is there a motion?
So moved.
Heber,
Second?
Wood, is there any discussion? Seeing none.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Mark Mannix?
Yes.
Meg LeFave?
Yes.
Barb Heber?
Yes.
Mike Cash?
Yes, the resolution is carrying.
Michael, you have all those documents?
We will be getting the finalized version of things, because as Lori is finalizing narration, because the deadline isn't complete yet, so. That's it. All right. We will.
I think they
adjourn.
wanted to stay longer though.
I'm giving it to you for consideration first, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay, it's just longer.
We'll adjourn at 6:38.
That's
You know, we got a lot
Sure.
of CDPH and, you know, the new building, which
That's okay.
I'm interested in.
Sure.
Yes.
That is quite all right.
I'm talking to Jake. and he can do it.
Warm weather?
Oh, it is.
Yes, very much so.
Yes, I'm gonna reduce this shortly.
Yeah, for sure you will.
The only thing I do is.
You're gonna be
stuff
sweating.
on there, so.
Told Marty about it.
Do you need any?
No, we'd love to.
It's not a
speak
warm
with
fuzzy
you.
lunch.
Well, if you want.
If you have, yeah, if you have a couple moments.
Speak about it.
Well, essentially.
You were that.